The Pittsburgh Steelers' pursuit of wide receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling was short-lived. While the team was reportedly among the two finalists to sign the recently waived veteran receiver, Valdes-Scantling is heading to the San Francisco 49ers. The 33rd team's Ari Meirov reported Wednesday that Valdes-Scantling chose to sign with the 49ers instead of the Steelers. The possibility of the Steelers signing the veteran emerged late Tuesday night. NFL insider Aaron Wilson suggested the Steelers and 49ers were the two possibilities for the 30-year-old receiver. The Seattle Seahawks waived Valdes-Scantling prior to the league's roster deadline Tuesday. The receiver spent the 2024 campaign with the Buffalo Bills and New Orleans Saints. In 14 games, he posted 19 catches for 411 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. Steelers WR depth without Marquez Valdes-Scantling. The 30-year-old wideout could have been a nice addition to Pittsburgh's receiving core. While had only saw 44 targets last season, Valdes-Scantling averaged 21.6 yards per catch. He led the NFL in that category with 20.9 yards per reception during 2020. Over his entire 7-year career, Valdes-Scantling has posted 17.4 yards per grab. The receiver is also very familiar with quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The two were teammates with the Green Bay Packers from 2018 to 21. Over 4 seasons with Rodgers as his quarterback, Valdes-Scantling averaged about 31 catches, 538 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns per year. He averaged 17.5 yards per reception. After leaving the Packers, Valdes-Scantling helped the Kansas City Chiefs win back-to-back Super Bowls in 2022 and 2023. But the veteran won't be joining the Steelers roster after choosing to sign with San Francisco instead. The Steelers had 5 wide receivers on their initial 53-man roster Tuesday. Pundits project DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin III to start. Veteran Scotty Miller had a strong preseason to earn a roster spot. The Steelers also have high hopes for 2024 third-rounder Roman Wilson. The 5th receiver spot belonged to Ben Skowronek, but he provides more on special teams than offense. Other potential Steelers WR targets. Valdes-Scantling may have been Pittsburgh's top early choice as a roster addition after Tuesday's cuts. But he won't be the only option. Another intriguing possibility is former Tampa Bay Buccaneers receiver Trey Palmer. Pundits previously linked the Steelers to Palmer through off-season trade rumors. After stocking their roster with receiver talent the past couple drafts, the Buccaneers waived Palmer on Tuesday. Tampa Bay drafted Palmer in the 6th round of the 2023 NFL Draft. He had 51 catches, 557 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns in 32 games with the Buccaneers. Steelers Depot's Alex Kozora named Palmer an option for the Steelers in the hours after the roster cuts. Kozora also argued veteran Zach Pascal could be a target. An older player, Pascal won't bring big plays to the Steelers' offense, Kozora wrote. But he's a physical blocker cut from the Robert Woods mold, but with more size and far more special teams value. Pascal stands at 6'2" and 219 pounds. He has played at least 200 snaps on special teams each of the past 3 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles and Arizona Cardinals. Last season, Pascal lined up for a career-high 278 special team snaps. Meanwhile, he only played 68 snaps on offense. The Pittsburgh Steelers will begin the season on the road against the New York Jets, which happens to be Aaron Rodgers' old team. The Jets released him in the offseason after spending the last 2 seasons with them. Rodgers signed a 1-year deal with Pittsburgh, and this is potentially his last season in the NFL. He is 41 years old and isn't the quarterback he was once during his prime when with the Green Bay Packers. Does he have one last ride in him before he potentially retires from the NFL? PFF questions what Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers will be in 2025. Pro Football Focus writer Dalton Wasserman previewed the upcoming 2025 season for the Steelers. Of course, the quarterback spotlight is going to be on Rodgers. Wasserman said about the future Hall of Famer entering the 2025 season. 2024 PFF grade, 78.0. Key stat, 7.3-yard average depth of target, tied for 7th lowest in NFL. Rodgers faced plenty of turmoil during his short time in New York, but still has some production left in his right arm. In the aggregate, he performed at a roughly league average level. However, he became more conservative than ever, as his 7.3-yard average depth of target was his lowest in any season as a starter. Rodgers is still effective at reading defenses and moving the chains, but his age and recent injuries have sapped his mobility, and he doesn't threaten defenses vertically like he used to. During the 2024 season with the Jets, he completed 63% of his passes for 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. If Rodgers posts similar numbers with the Steelers in 2025, there is a good chance that Pittsburgh will be back in the playoffs because they have a much better supporting cast than New York did. Rodgers' number one option will be wide receiver DK Metcalf. It will be interesting to see how the relationship with Rodgers and head coach Mike Tomlin will go during the 2025 NFL season. Pittsburgh finished with a 10-7 record last season, and Rodgers is looking to make one last ride into the playoffs and a run at a Super Bowl also. The Pittsburgh Steelers have already made an adjustment to their first 53-man roster. But Bleacher Report's Mo Moton argued Thursday that a much bigger change is coming with veteran receiver Brandin Cooks. On a list of bold trade predictions to occur before the 2025 NFL regular season begins next weekend, Moton projected the Steelers to acquire Cooks from the New Orleans Saints. Moton pitched the Steelers landing Cooks for a 2026 fifth-round draft pick. In his 12th year, Cooks would be a better fit on a playoff contending squad rather than a team in its early stages of a rebuild with a starting quarterback who has an uncertain short-term future, wrote Moton. The Steelers should be one of the strongest suitors for Cooks, who would be the team's second-best wideout behind DK Metcalf. Calvin Austin III made strides as a big play receiver last season, but quarterback Aaron Rodgers can target Cooks as his reliable chain mover in the aerial attack. Cooks spent the first 3 seasons of his NFL career with the Saints. The veteran agreed to return to New Orleans this offseason on a 2-year, $13 million deal. Over his 12-year NFL career, Cooks has accumulated about $123 million. The past 2 seasons, Cooks played for the Dallas Cowboys. In 2024, he posted 26 catches for 259 yards and 3 touchdowns. What Brandin Cooks could add to Steelers. As Moton wrote, the 31-year-old receiver is past his prime. But he's been a valuable contributor to a lot of NFL offenses over the years and could be worth a flyer for the Steelers. Cooks posted a pair of 1,000-yard receiving seasons during his first Saints tenure. He also had 1,000-yard campaigns with the New England Patriots, Los Angeles Rams, and Houston Texans. His statistics dipped last season below the 500-yard mark for the first time ever. But Cooks missed 7 games because of a knee injury. Cooks has posted 76 catches and 1,026 receiving yards as a 17-game average in his NFL career. That production would probably cause a lot of national pundits, like Moton, to be excited about the possibility of the Steelers adding the veteran. The Steelers had receivers DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, Scotty Miller, and Ben Skowronek on their first 53-man roster. Why Steelers are unlikely to add Cooks. Steelers fans would probably prefer the team add a different Saints receiver, Chris Olave. Pundits linked the Steelers to the 2022 first-round pick in May when a report surfaced that general manager Omar Khan inquired about Olave. Insider Mark Kavaley, though, threw cold water on the Steelers acquiring Olave, Cooks, or any receiver, for that matter, on Wednesday. As of right now, the Steelers are not pursuing any wide receiver in free agency or a trade, Kavaley wrote on X. They are content going into the season with Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. Cooks could be worth adding because he likely wouldn't cost much. But there's also a decent chance he wouldn't move the needle much in Pittsburgh. It's actually debatable whether Cooks would be the Steelers' number 2 receiver. Austin had more yards per game than Cooks last season. Acquiring Cooks could also block Wilson from receiving opportunities, which shouldn't be Pittsburgh's objective with the 2024 third-rounder. For those reasons, Cooks landing in Pittsburgh should be considered a very bold prediction.